this content is for kids.
It's not for kids.
Isn't that what I said?
No, it's not for kids. If you are 13 years or younger, this is not for you. Do I have to kill somebody in order to actually make that point across?
No, man, you don't have to kill
Wait
no
a
one.
second.
Oh, no.
When we return to our planet, the High Court may well sentence you to torture.
He likes movies, we like movies. Septum Sin versus the world. 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 I'd buy that for $1.
Greetings! You're watching Septum Sen vs. the World. I'm Septum Sen. This is Kotobukijake.
Hey.
And we're here to show you what we got.
Show me what you got. I want to see what you got. Oh boy.
What a hole!
So this is kind of the second half of our holiday pickups spectacular. It's going to be a mix of some holiday pickups and some other stuff for Jake, I believe. And mine is all holiday. My wife went crazy with purchases this time, which was kind of cool.
Nice.
So I'm going to show those all off. Well, we'll go ahead and get you a start.
Okay, well, mine doesn't deviate too hard from the holiday theme. It's just that I didn't get quite as many as he did, and so I had to fill the gaps with a couple of others. And one of them is one I did get from him, and that was following last episode we did, if I remember correctly, which was I have now a copy of a little quality piece of entertainment from a previous Inside Movies Galore discussion, which is called Jack Frost. Not to be confused with the Michael Keaton film. This is a slightly different one.
Slightly.
And it's basically about a dude who's a killer who comes back as a psychotic killing snow creature. And that's really all you have to know about that. It's good, goofy, horror, fun. I did not love the movie, but I found it entertaining enough. And, yeah, it's worth having in the collection.
It's still relatively high as far as that particular version goes. It's come down, but the lowest amount for that version is usually $20.99. I see. I also see listings for upwards of $120 still for that.
Well, of course, it's got that parental lock on it.
Yeah. So, it's kind of cool. It's a valuable OOP version. Y'all will see more of that later.
Nice.
Did I do Jack? No, I didn't do Jack Frost, did I?
No.
But, in any case, let's start. So, we're going to start with the holiday one. An update.
Nice.
Which is Scrooged with Bill Murray. Now, that one did get updated. I do have it on DVD, but I'm going to now have it on Blu-ray.
That might be the edition I got.
So it's kind of cool to have this upwards. Yeah. Back in business, I guess you could say. Which is kind of cool to have the DVD and the Blu-ray. We watched it the other night. We watched it on the 25th, I want to say. So
cool.
It was kind of cool to have that and celebrate Christmas with this. I mean, I think that Bill Murray's take on the Bill Murray, what was it? Who was the director on this? Richard Donner take on this Christmas classic was quite a good one. Some people, I know, like in our discussion on Inside Movies Galore, I think it was Dane that had said, again, it's not really a good film at all, but that nostalgia kind of clouds that. And it could be, but I do think that's kind of cool. It still holds up as far as I'm concerned. But again, it might be nostalgia goggles for me.
Not entirely nostalgia. I mean, it's a good movie, and it was not one I grew up with. But
And that scene at the beginning where it's like, only Lee Majors can stop them. The night the reindeer die, that advert was just hilarious. Thank you.
all right, so we mentioned that that there was a recent restock. We assume it was a recent restock at the local Dollar Trees, and we have shown off some of our pickups from that. I still have a few remaining. One of them fits the holiday theme insofar as I actually purchased 2 copies, one of which became a Christmas present, because as it turns out, we had actually, my family had sat down and watched this movie because Mom had picked it up from the library and wanted to see it. And so we all sat down and watched it. And then I go over to Dollar Tree and, they had it. And I was like, okay, it was a good movie. Not a great one, but a good one. I buy that for $1. Of course, I paid $1.25, but And I saw today that Elon Musk is making jokes about that. Elon Musk does not have the right to make jokes about that. Normal people do, but he doesn't, because to him it's literally no difference.
Yeah.
So at any rate, $1.25 adds up to normal people. But anyway, the movie in question is a religious drama about it's a kind of sort of biopic about the guy who started Reformation, essentially, Martin Luther, and then the film is called Luther. Features Joseph Fiennes in the main role. You've also got a pretty impressive and intriguing cast. Most notably, this was the last live-action appearance of Sir Peter Ustinov, who plays the German ruler who was essentially Luther's enabler in his break from the church. And Ustinov is great. If you watch the film for nothing else, he's great in the film. You've also got Bruno Ganz, Alfred Molina, and a bunch of other good folks in there. So it's also kind of funny that you got the guy that plays Prince John in the Robin Hood, and the guy that plays Hitler in Downfall, and all these other people. And then the guy that plays Doc Ock in the Spidey series, like I said, not a brilliant film, but a good film, and it was definitely worth $1.25.
Not bad at all.
Yeah.
So this next one is one that was on my list, and I almost got it, but I decided to hold off, and it was good because otherwise she would have gotten it and it would have been there. And that was The Father.
Ah, that's a good one.
Which, of course, Best Acting win for Anthony Hopkins. He did not win the Versus Award. That went to who should have gotten it, just because, well, you got to really give it to the person whose swan song is there. So, still is a good movie, brilliantly acted, well done. You were trying to really get Olivia Colman up there for Best Actress, weren't you?
Well, I thought she definitely. Well, I had her for. I believe I had her for supporting. Yeah. Some people nominated her for she was one of the ones where there was a disconnect in our group about what level of acting she should be at. And that's one of the things. Sometimes it's difficult to determine between lead and support. But
so did she win? She didn't win, did she? I don't know who won. Who won?
For the
Swanky won supporting actor.
From us, yes. Oh, Swanky kicked ass in that.
Yes, but still, great film. Glad to have it in the collection. I'm iffy now about collecting all the Oscar winners. Now that they're going, well, physical media is dead, so we're not going to put all the Oscar winners on physical media anymore.
You say that like it's up to any one person.
I know, but it's just
No.
In a way, it's up to society, I should say.
Society.
Because society's moving to the all
Society makes
digital.
some stupid choices.
So, you can see almost all of them via streaming now, but
Yeah.
for how long? And how long will it be before some of these films, like let's say My Octopus Teacher, good example. How long before that film in general is lost forever? Like they just say, okay, we're tired of having this on, it's not getting enough views, it's off, and it's gone. And nobody can see it again.
Yeah, that would be stupid.
So it just, it does bother me about that.
Yeah. Now, on that note, I did, my remaining ones are my Christmas presents. And most of these were requested. There is one where there's some debate about whether I actually requested it. But the good thing is, they were all things that were definitely within my... For one, I pretty much, if it's a Criterion release, I want it in my collection. There are a handful of Criterion films where I want to wring someone's neck for putting it in the collection. But technically, if it's Criterion, I want it.
Solo.
I'll learn about that one this summer, I guess. But on the note of what he was just talking about, I take a less doom and gloom approach. I think most of these films still have the potential to get a physical release. They're just probably going to... People are not going to prioritize it the way they used to. And I think most of these, if they do get a physical release, it's either going to be through boutique releasers like Criterion, or it's going to be like a limited run now and then that, you know, they'll dump something here and there and then, you know, forget about it the next week. And, you know, like a film like, what was that one Sandra Bullock did? It was a
The Blind Side?
was a Black Box?
Bird Box?
Bird Box. I don't think that's had a physical release yet. It did not have the critical buzz to get a Criterion release. So I'm thinking maybe in 3 or 4 years they'll dump it on the market and then forget about it. You know, that seems likely. But one that was actually a Hulu release that somewhat surprisingly got a Criterion release just a couple years after its official bow was one of the ones that I had thrown on my hastily scribbled list of this year's priority Criterion films. And, well, I got it. And that was a documentary, which this may be the first documentary I've got for Criterion. I don't know. But it's a film called Minding the Gap, which is basically about a bunch of skateboarders and just kind of chronicles their lives and what have you. It is notable in that one of them, Bing Liu, is also the director of the film. And, you know, I'm always one for supporting more presence of Asians behind the camera here in this country, you know, that give them more opportunity. And it's a good enough documentary. I enjoyed it somewhat. I'm not a big skateboarder myself, but it does have a pretty decent amount of special features. But again, I wanted this one if only to show support for the idea that these films still could and should get a physical release. And yeah, like I said, that was an Oscar nominee for documentary. So yeah, be nice having that one. Maybe I'll get around to watching it again.
I like the documentary, though it still makes me mad that American Factory has yet... Yeah. After Criterion announced it,
they announced it a while back.
I would love to have it because that would complete my set.
Dick Johnson is Dead is coming out.
Yes, it is, which I'm happy about. That got a number of nominations for the Versus Awards, by the way, which you should watch. You should check out the awards show. We did a ton of videos leading up towards it. It was a lot of work, but a lot of fun at the same time. It looks like we're stuck with it again. I was hoping to pass it to another channel, but it looks like we are with it again.
Do you really think that was going to happen next year?
I could have hoped. We're connected to a bunch of YouTube channels, for goodness sakes. But maybe for 2023's Versus Awards, if we're still doing it at that time.
Well, there's plenty of films from this year that'll be worth discussing.
Knowing things, that might be the only thing I get to watch from here until nomination time is Have Gun Will Travel. Maybe that'll be the only thing I see from then until then.
All right.
So let's see here. The next one is another upconvert, which I think is going to have to take its own place because I want to say that the version I have is attached. Let me see here. Yeah, I think it is. So, and that is The Great Outdoors, which I got an upgrade to Blu-ray, which is kind of cool. I love The Great Outdoors. It is a freaking awesome movie. And you know what I might start doing after this is, well, we'll talk about that after this. But it's still pretty cool. I love it. John Candy, Dan Aykroyd, one of my favorites growing up as a child. So I'm glad to have the upgrade. I'm going to have to keep the triple pack that it's on because I don't have some of the ones that triple pack. Right. But still good to have the Blu-ray. Sometimes you just got to double dip.
And that was also a Movies Galore discussion, if I recall. Pretty good one. So this one, there was a little bit of controversy over. I have no memory whatsoever of having put this on my list. If I did, I randomly put it down and then promptly forgot.
A Serbian film?
No. They don't have a Criterion release of that.
Let's see. House of a Thousand Corpses?
No, not yet. But I am nonetheless intrigued by this one, if only from the cast. And that is a film called Mikey and Nikki. The film by Elaine May, which stars Peter Falk and John Cassavetes, along with Ned Beatty. I mean, how's that for a cast? That sounds pretty cool. 1976 film. It's apparently a gangster film, which I do enjoy a good gangster film. And the idea of Columbo in a gangster film just sounds like a great idea. Like I said, I really have no real memory of putting this on the list, but it absolutely falls into the category of I would happily add it to the collection. A little skimpy on the bonus features, sadly. Not quite what you'd hope with Criterion, but, you know, nonetheless, glad to have that one. I enjoy me some Peter Falk films, and sounds good.
So, this one is one, I think you got a Rick Moranis film a while back, which was cool.
I've got a few.
And this one is kind of fun because I'd never seen this one before, which is Splitting Heirs. It has that old retro, the retro VC.
I saw that
case.
Once a long time ago.
And I like the casting in it. I mean, you've got Eric Idle, Rick Moranis, Catherine Zeta-Jones. That's pretty cool cast right there.
Yeah.
I am very interested in it. Oh, and John Cleese. And I like how they have them like with the knife out there. I love these. I love these like VHS style cases there.
Yeah.
And that is just, to me, it's really cool. I think that it would be an excellent addition to the collection. I want to get all of his filmography eventually. If only they'll put out all of the comedy show he was on. Right. What was that show? SCTV? Not SCTV. It was...
Wasn't he?
Was it SCTV?
I think so.
I get them confused.
He was on John
I get that
Candy,
one and WKRP mixed up. Maybe it was SCTV for him.
I think
because him and Candy were on it. I really want that series as a whole. Yeah. You can get it in pieces, expensive, but I want to see a whole one.
Right.
Shout Factory, you release everything else like that. Release this one because it's I'd like to get his entire filmography.
I had totally forgotten about that movie, but yeah, I saw that a long time ago. That looks fun, or it is fun.
Yes.
All right, another one that is fun, but in a very, very different way, and it's also a much higher quality film per the critics, but I'm sure some people would disagree. Actually, my final 3 are all upgrades, so you're not the only one with upgrades. In this one, I had essentially a bare bones DVD release. I saw it in theaters and loved it, rented it twice, and did not take long to buy it thereafter. So I've been waiting a while to do a proper upgrade, but Criterion very recently,
Yeah.
very recently decided to get into the 4K business, and one of their flagship titles was one that they had already done a release of, and they decided to do like a super nice re-release for 4K, and that happened to be one of my gifts for Christmas. So I now have one Criterion 4K Blu-ray set, and it is a film that absolutely deserves the HD transfer, and that is David Lynch's beautiful fever dream Mulholland Drive, which this is much nicer edition than the one I already had.
It's definitely on my list.
There's definitely a lot of nice bonus features on there. And like I said, this is an absolutely, if there's a film that deserves the 4K treatment, this is on the list of films like that. Most of Lynch's films are, really. And I'm kind of glad I dithered and waited on getting a Blu-ray upgrade, because now I have a slightly better upgrade. And it comes in that nice box, too, which is really fancy.
The cat is trying to mess with everything, as they do.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, I'm going to be talking about a 4K Criterion as my end.
Oh, nice.
So, I have 2 4K Criterion releases, but neither one of them is that one. But only one of them is coming up for this one.
Okay.
So, one that probably will get Criterion eventually, but it's an excellent film. One that I know you say does not deserve the wins it got because of when it came out. But may deserve talking about for our 2021 Versus Awards is the film Judas and the Black Messiah. Now, it could be that's like, nah, I'm done with it. It's not coming up in the Versus
Awards. I still need to watch the dang thing.
To me, this one will probably be a feature big in my nominations for the Versus Awards. That and the Mauritanian, I believe, also is 2021. Both of those deserve. And it's sad that the Mauritanian got left out. It would have probably been a bigger hit this year.
Yeah.
I might be wrong. From what I've heard, Spider-Man is going to be a big contender.
From what I've heard, yeah.
But still, awesome movie. Amazing story there. There's not a lot of special features, so there is still hope that this one will get a Criterion release. And it very well may, because this one is a high profile. But it is cool to have it. And we'll see how it goes for the Versus Awards. It might be this one doesn't get nominated.
Right.
But we'll see.
Okay. So my mini theme of Criterion is just about to come to a close. And my mini theme of upgrades barrels onward. And then I'll start another mini theme as well. And this is one that, again, I have on DVD. And I've been wanting to upgrade to Criterion for some time. I never wanted it bad enough. There's so many films I could upgrade. I've taken to making that a birthday and Christmas thing of telling people the ones I want to upgrade so I can get them as gifts, and not, you know what I mean?
Not spend the money on it. Yeah.
Yes. And so this one is an oldie but goodie from Terry Gilliam, called Time Bandits.
Worthy upgrade.
Yes, and that's, again, some really good bonus features on that thing. Like I said, I have a pretty bare bones DVD release. I was not blown away by this film, but unfairness, I think I've only seen it once. And most of Gilliam's films pretty much demand repeat viewing.
Yeah,
and it's an interesting one, no doubt about it. I look forward to finally seeing it again. I mean, you do have not just you got Sean Connery in there, you got David Warner, Michael Palin, Ian Holm. I mean, you got a pretty fun cast. It's one of his films that has a Python-ish feel to it, as you can tell by the illustrations on the cover. But it's a little bit darker and more Gilliam-y, you could say. What's up?
I'm just looking. Keep going.
Well, that was pretty much all I had on that one.
And there goes the thing. I was just checking to see. Nope. I think the only Terry Gilliam film I have not upgraded to Criterion is Brazil. That's been released on Criterion.
I was going to say, he has several that are not on there,
but I mean, like, let's see, the ones that, like,
they really need a Criterion for The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus.
Yeah, that one.
And The Man Who Killed Don Quixote.
The Man Who Killed Don Quixote. I think that Baron Munchausen should get one.
They need to do The Man Who Killed Don Quixote with Lost in La Mancha as a bonus feature.
And they need to do another Monty Python the Holy Grail just because it needs another release because it hasn't had enough yet.
Well, the idea that there isn't a Criterion collection for Monty Python would just be incredible. I would
actually.
I'd buy that for $1.
I mean, Gilliam's probably coming close to the end of his career as a director.
Could be.
So, because this stuff has gotten farther and farther apart. I think was A Man Who Killed Don Quixote his last release?
I think he's had one since.
Get the cat. Get the cat. Okay.
Rose is trying to be helpful, but it's not entirely working.
But you know, I mean, once he is done, a Gilliam collection, like all of his directed films in the 4K format, that would be an excellent thing. But as you are moving away from Criterion, my last two are Criterion. And one of those, we're talking about films that are streaming and streaming only, and Criterion might be one of the few that will rescue these films from obscurity. And this is one of those cases. It probably deserved some awards for 2020's Oscars, but I don't think won any. And that was One Night in Miami.
Ah, yeah.
Now, I had avoided this on the sale because it came out, I think, right after the sale ended.
I think it did, yes.
So, Kim paid the full price for it. Which
I will be getting that in July.
I do thank her for that. I was definitely going to get this if it had not been. It did come loose in the case, which I wasn't happy about. But it's a Blu-ray, and Blu-ray are extremely durable, thank goodness, when it comes to those things. This is a beautiful work. I mean, I have rarely seen a film that does touch me the way that this did, and the interactions. It's an ensemble piece, so it makes sense that none of those individual actors really did get the win. But still, as a film, it should have gotten more than what it got. It's just an excellent piece of work. If you haven't seen it yet, you should watch it. It's about these guys who are getting together. Not just any guys. You got Muhammad Ali, Malcolm X, Sam Cooke, and Jim Brown all getting together in a hotel room talking about events as they happen. And it's just really great. The acting is done well, especially with Kingsley Ben-Adir and Leslie Odom Jr. They really did shine. Not to belittle Eli Gore and Aldous Hodge.
Yeah, I thought Hodge was great.
Because they did well, but the other two were definitely the stars of that show. So if you haven't seen this, it's on Amazon Prime. But if you really like it, support these films getting released physically. Buy it. They do look at these numbers. They use it to tell if it's something that's coming out in the future. So you should check this out.
All right, and my last one. Well, I said there was another mini theme coming to take place with the Criterion, and that was Terry Gilliam. And as we mentioned in some of our previous pickups, about the same time that the last Criterion sale fired off, Barnes & Noble began carrying, or maybe they had been doing it a little longer and I just didn't notice, but they were doing a simultaneous sale for Arrow releases. And it was the same thing, 50% off. Most of them were comparably priced to the Criterion ones. Now I went ahead and grabbed a couple. There were a few that I really wanted to grab that I did not.
Oh.
And one that I'm very glad that I did not, because not only did I get it for Christmas, but the edition I saw was the regular edition, and the one I got for Christmas was this Steelbook edition, which is even better. This is one of Gilliam's best films, one of probably his most accessible film, and strangely one that does not have a Criterion release, but it does have this nice Arrow release, and that is the movie 12 Monkeys.
Very cool.
Which, like I said, has this really nice Steelbook edition. It's kind of hard to really get the detail on it here, but shiny. It's very shiny. But, I mean, just like a good Criterion release, this has some pretty good bonus features on it. So, I'm actually really excited about this. I mean, part of me is kind of like, man, I wish it was Criterion. And part of me is thinking I may still get the Criterion edition of 12 Monkeys
That's
when
about
it
the
happens.
equivalent, really.
But this is such a nice... It is, and it's an equivalent version.
And the number of special features, good lord.
Yeah, I mean, and it's, again, just a really cool-looking set. And I don't go near as crazy for Steelbooks as he does, but I still enjoy them. And like I said, I'm glad I held off, because otherwise I would have had the regular edition, and which would have still been awesome, but not quite as awesome. So,
yeah, I mean, freaking Criterion did Thailand of all films.
right.
They could do the Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus, especially that one. And I do think that they should do the Don Quixote film with the documentary as an extra on.
So let's see, and they've done Jabberwocky of all, like I said,
Jabberwocky
of all
things.
Yeah. Now, they haven't done Baron Munchausen, have they?
No, that's one I said that I wish that I could have that I could get.
And they probably won't. It'll probably be ages before they do the
I don't even
Brothers
know
Grimm, but I'd like to see it.
Yeah, that one.
I'd like to see
even
the
lower
Zero Theorem get it, but you know.
Yeah, that's another one. Maybe.
Yeah.
Oh no. Don Quixote was later than Zero Theorem, but
Yeah.
I always forget Zero Theorem.
Everyone does.
I mean, I have it on Blu-ray, which I can't say about Adventures of Baron Munchausen, which is an excellent film, by the way, and one I think would do well under a 4K restoration or a Blu-ray.
And
I think it would do very
If
well.
memory serves, I think they did do a laser disc of Life of Brian, but they dropped it a long time ago. Yeah.
So, remember we were talking about 4K upgrades? Cat's trying to eat his foot.
Yes.
Of films, and one that I have that I do think deserves the retreatment. If there are any films out there, some of these films are the best of the best. Mulholland Drive definitely, but this one here also is one of the best to be released on this, and that is Citizen Kane. Now, this one also has a Criterion release, I believe.
No, this was the initial
Was it
release.
really the initial one?
That was their first.
And they had,
Criterion.
because I have a really good release of Citizen Kane.
Me too.
Which is one of the things that kept me from doing this. But of course, when somebody buys it for you, you don't have to worry about that.
Exactly.
I mean, not only is it 4K and mine's DVD, but look at that. Yes, as Dane has said in his Pick Up with Mo episode, if you watch that, he does show this off, which is cool because you can go to his channel, and it's linked down below, and watch the video with him and Dane of the recent pickups, and he does show this off, and he opens it up and everything, because it looks really neat on the inside. They did an amazing job with this. All you really need is that. I was debating whether I like this cover or not, but it really does state what it is.
Yeah, it does. And I
And-
mean, hey, look at all the bonus features on that one. That's
Oh my!
gotta...
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that my DVD version does not hold a candle to it.
Although I wouldn't be surprised if that. I
Let me
know which
see.
edition you have because I have it.
Let me see. real
Wouldn't
quick.
surprise me if there's some really good stuff that did not make it to the Criterion edition.
Citizen Clash of the Titans.
There
There we go. I mean, it's a cool addition.
Oh yeah.
I mean, this was a Warner Brothers DVD release.
Yeah,
Of
that's
it.
the one I got. Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, it had a decent number of special features. I mean, a 2-disc special. But, I mean, you can see they were kind of... But that's kind of cool, though. I mean, this one I got used for very little. This one I got for free for a Christmas present. And, to tell you the truth, I'm kind of glad for the upgrade.
Yeah. Let me do a comparison real quick. I'm curious.
Take a look at it.
Cause yeah, I've been wondering about this upgrade myself.
The writing is so small. That's the biggest thing for me. I'm getting old, so I can't read the small print anymore.
Mhm.
Not easily.
Mhm.
I have to do little tricks where I take my glasses off and do that. So it is. And of course, I'm on with Mo on one of his later when he was talking about the book for Charles Band and the movies that came with it, and we did a pickup on that. And some of those you did see on pickups here, but most of those I have not shown here and will not show on the channel. So if you want to see those, you should check out that. And then we kind of devolve afterwards into a general horror discussion, which is also some cool stuff. But at least we'll get through the pickups before we devolve too much.
Okay, so it looks like the biggest difference, and it is a big difference, is that this one includes an Oscar-nominated documentary called The Battle Over Citizen Kane, and this one does not.
Wow.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. It looks like everything else is on this one.
Anything on there that's not on that one?
Oh, there's plenty on the Criterion one. So
yeah, you're gonna unfortunate if you really want all the special features, you're gonna have to get a lot of copies of the same thing.
Sometimes.
But that's about it. I think we got a pretty cool pickup lineup.
I think so.
But of course, if you like this, hit that like button, hit subscribe, and share, and we'll see you on the next one.
Bye.
Goodbye. Yeah.